So what I want us to do is to start becoming more conscious, start choosing things in a better way for ourselves, and start creating a life that's going to gear us to really take advantage of the opportunities that are going to show up for us in the years to come.
This podcast is brought to you by The Integrated Human. We work up, down, inside out to plug yourself into your potential. If you want to see what we are up to and what's next, sign up to our newsletter or follow us on social media. If you like what we are doing, we really appreciate it if you can like our post on social media and YouTube and help us grow.
All right. Welcome to the Big and Small Podcast. I'm Jason Shields and I'm big.
And I'm Marit Gabrielsen and I'm the tiny one.
Hey, yo.
Slightly larger than last year.
Yeah. Right after Christmas. I wouldn't say I'm slightly larger. I'm voluptuous.
Yeah. Yes. First podcast of 2024.
Amazing. I'm glad to be back. Glad to be back. So,
Yes.
yeah. So what's up?
Stop asking that.
Did you get enough to eat?
Yes.
Bam.
Good Christmas.
All right.
Yes.
Did you get enough snow?
Yes. There we have a lot of snow.
Has
in
it
Norway
been
right now.
cold enough?
It's been minus 26 degrees Celsius, which is what in Fahrenheit.
Yes. Well, no. 40 and 40 meet. So minus 40 Celsius is minus 40 in Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
So we're talking still very cold. I mean, minus 26 degrees Celsius is cold.
Very, very cold.
Yeah, it's the kind of cold when, for our listeners in Florida, it's like, have you ever been handling stuff from the freezer that's really cold and your fingers hurt?
Yeah, that's that. That's actually exactly that.
Yeah. And then you realize how bad your fingers hurt, but you still have to keep holding. That's what it is, just hanging out outside now. You know, I was in the car in my huge jacket and with my gloves on, with the heater in the steering wheel, and I was driving down to training, and my fingers were hurting just as if I was holding a block of frozen something or ice. It was
Did
insane.
frostbite.
Yeah, it's crazy. With the gloves on. So, yeah, it's been chilly. And did you have a Merry Christmas? You know, it's like one of those things that everybody's always, wishing you a Merry Christmas. You know, Christmas is always very interesting, I think, because you have a conglomeration of family that you haven't seen, and some people you're loving on, and some people you got drama with, and you eat too much food, and it's just not always an easy time, is it?
No.
Nope, it's not. But the difference between Christmas and New Year's is that you're supposed to decide how your New Year's going to go.
Yes.
Yeah. Have you put any thought into that?
No.
Well, you planned for 2 years, though.
Yeah, but I don't have any. We talked about last time. I don't have any New Year's resolutions.
Not resolutions, but
No, I have not. I have not had the time to think about what I want for 2024.
Okay.
That you should actually know that I have not had any time to think about that.
Well,
So
we've been busy.
I haven't put any thought into 2024 now.
Okay.
No.
Now we've been a little busy. We have working and basically turning on all the turbos for the event now in February. Can't
Less
wait.
than a month away.
So cool. We were in the venue just checking the acoustics and making sure that everything's going to be perfect. And it's going to be off the hook. Yeah, I can't wait.
Yes.
So, but you had an idea, a theme that you were going to talk about, something about comparison you mentioned?
It's a very strange introduction to that topic. But yes, we're going to talk about... I had an idea to talk about comparison.
Yeah, cool.
Yes.
Okay. Introduction.
Yes.
So, are there any themes that you would like to speak about?
Yes, it is comparison.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Now we had how to introduce this. This is because again I'm going to get to the point. So you just need to follow me a little bit because when we do it at their events, for instance, it's very can look kind of strange You know, we have soma breath, we have drumming, we sit in silence and meditate, and we ask all kind of strange questions that people kind of have to get it's strange, and you can look at people's body language. Kind of a lot of some people sit with their, and in any event venue ever, you know, some people sit with their arms crossed, and some people, you know, it's kind of, they're very uptight. And over the last couple of years, we have also been going to a lot of different kind of events ourselves. Like you're going to Dr. Joe Dispenza, we went to some other retreats, and I always find when you go into something new that you don't actually know what is, you have your thoughts about what it is, but you don't know, is much easier, and you get a better experience if you walk in with it with your arms unfolded and more, okay, let's see what this is. I'm going to do this for this hour or this session or these days, and then I want to come out on the other side. I will evaluate if this is something for me or not, instead of going in with the thought of, that's not for me. And I think often I feel at least for my process, when I go walk in with that attitude, it's much easier for me to decide after what was something that I resonate with and what didn't, instead of kind of already coming in blocked. And we had a cacao ceremony session with NIT. Or also called tension and trauma releasing exercises over the Christmas. And this is a group that's been doing this for a long time. So C wanted to kind of mix it up a little bit. So usually we have some exercises where we kind of stretch a little bit and make our body ready, but C wanted to mix it up. So we were going to dance. And if you have ever been in Norway, you will first of all see that we don't like to sit next to each other. What did I discover here because of the way we sat in buses?
The electron placement of the shell in an atom it follows a certain rule, which means that each of the layers fill up first one at a time, and then they start adding the second one, and then the third one, and the fourth one.
Yeah.
And a guy found that out because he got on a bus in Norway and realized that people were sitting as far apart as they possibly could, you know, not two together, but like they would choose and go down the whole line before they started filling up the first in the front of the bus again and filling up backwards.
We keep our distance. Like it's a very, very large country. I think we just talked about it upstairs. If you flip it, kind of, if you take it and kind of just take off the pin on top of Norway and kind of gonna pin it to the south of Europe, you're gonna reach Denmark to south of Italy.
Yeah, or if you just swing it directly down from where it is now, you'll hit Rome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so it's a long country, but it's like 5 million people here.
Yeah, there's 11 square kilometers per person.
Yeah. So we like our distance.
Yes.
And we're stiff. First of all, it's very cold.
Yes.
We don't have any Latino hips moving up here. There's more kind of wood chopping exercises.
Wood chopping.
Instead of the fluey, bendy stuff, it's very strict.
Yeah.
So C puts on the speakers. And, you know, and people like looking at each other, just going, what the? No. And I also went, no, not dancing. And it was interesting because you feel the first thought that pops up is, what will people think?
My jiggly hips went off immediately.
You're not born Norwegian, so you don't have that disease with you. But it's so interesting. So I've been doing this for so long, fairly not very long time, but I'm up to 6 years now.
Yeah.
And I've been doing all kinds of crazy stuff. But when Steve says dance,
to
wonderful music, it's not. If this was at home I was cleaning, I would be dancing.
Yeah.
But I'm in a group with 15 other people that I know is a safe space. And my first thought is, what will people think?
Mm.
And then, because Steve starts dancing, I'm like, well, a song is about 4 minutes. A little bit more than one. Well, if it's 2, we're talking 8 minutes. So either I can stand here for 8 minutes, feeling completely hopeless, wonder about what everybody else might think, and then I realize that, first of all, it's stealing from my experience, because you're dancing for a reason. You're dancing to loosen up. You're dancing to let in, because you've had cacao and you've had the ceremony, and you're kind of letting the cacao work in your body before we do the exercises on the wall. And I'm like, why let that thing take from the experience? So I just went, okay, forget about it. You're home, you're in your room, you're cleaning, let's go. Everybody does that. And it was fascinating afterwards, because I was thinking, if I'm thinking, what will people think? And the person next to me is thinking, oh my God, what will people think? And the person next there again is thinking, what will people think? Then no one is thinking about each other. And we're only thinking about what other people might think. Because my hip moves worse than you, and I can't do that, and I don't bend like this. And if one of the ladies afterwards said, I haven't done that, and she was kind of had freed herself up a bit, and she said, I haven't done that since I was like 10. And she's in her 30s right now. And isn't that sad? That we kind of don't allow ourselves, because we often are so afraid what other people might think. And we compare our dance moves to other people's dance move. And because I'm not a dancer, but, it kind of, that doesn't matter. It's not a dance rehearsal audition. It's a free up energy session. And it thought about a little bit about how much we stop ourselves from doing what feels natural or we want to do, because what will people might think? If it's choosing work or choosing education, and if you choose education, you compare yourself to the person next to you, which must be brilliant because they do A's all the time, but you don't know. So that was that.
That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful observation. The interesting thing with humans is that people forget that we are actually nature, and that we are animals, and that we are flock animals, and that developed into tribes. And it started off as small tribes and got larger and turned into cities like we have today. One of the reasons psychologists think, and evolutionary biologists and psychologists think that we have a terror in us for speaking publicly is for the same reason that you talk about. And
because speaking publicly is the number one fear, isn't it?
It's the number one fear. People fear that more than death, which I think is very extremely interesting. But the whole point, the reason why they fear it more than death was that you basically lose contact with the tribe. If you spoke and it was not accepted, and you got ostracized, basically kicked out of the tribe, you died. Because flock animals are flock animals because we do better in groups, and that individually we're not that good.
Yeah, because isolation is the worst.
It's the worst punishment psychologically, but it's also the worst punishment physiologically, because if you think about it, and most people don't really think about it today, because you can just go to the supermarket and get food. And you're like, well, yeah, but I have to work hard to make the money to get the food. Yeah. We're so efficient today. But back in the day, even as a tribe, you may not get enough food to feed everybody. And that's why, free sex and love and all that stuff usually wasn't the thing either. Because if you have a kid and you don't have two parents actually supporting the kids, then they starved. And then if the tribe was going to be compassionate and give them food, everybody starved. So there was a lot of, there are reasons for these rituals that we have. And those rituals, by the way, change from culture to culture, from climate to climate. Like when you're in Jamaica, you literally can walk out into the forest and pick mangoes and then go to the market and sell it. That's how they do it. They don't have a
cannot
mango
don't do
farm.
that here.
Yeah, you can't do that here. They don't have like mango farms. They just go out and pick it in the forest and come back in, and that's how they make their living. And I think that's amazing, right? But in Norway,
You're gonna make your living of picking berries.
not likely.
Good luck.
Right? The survival here is so hard that you need a group of people, which means that if you get kicked out of the community, you're dead. Like you don't have food, you freeze to death. Like it's hard. So exile, all of that. So our awareness, our innate fear of not being acceptable for the group is in us. The actual fact, especially today, is that nobody gives a shit. Let me repeat that. Nobody gives a shit because people are so video game pre-workout deranged, overstimulated, video dementia, iPad dementia, computer distracted. They can hardly focus on themselves, and I guarantee you they can't focus on you. And if you make a total fool of yourself,
Yeah.
you make a total fool of yourself, 7 seconds later, they can't remember. They're not going to remember. They don't care.
And it's so hard to forget. But this other week, that when I do, you remember, you're gonna remember when I mention it now, because it's very hard to understand exactly this, that people don't look at you.
Yeah, they don't care.
They have no.
They're busy.
They're busy, so busy with everything they
Yeah.
have themselves. So it's freezing cold right now, and like we just told, and we have a lunch break where we work out and have lunch.
Yeah.
And in that period of time, the clinic is closed.
Which is awesome.
So we open
Training
again at
and
1
food.
o'clock.
Yeah.
And it's been freezing cold, so I had a long shower and I washed my hair because we had a good workout. I'm like, I want to wash my hair. So, and because it's so cold, there's a lot of things around it. So it's because it's so cold, you kind of want to put on body lotion afterwards. But if you put on body lotion and then put on skinny jeans, all the lotion goes into the skinny jeans.
Yes.
And because you take a very hot shower, you also start sweating, and then the jeans, it just doesn't work. So I take a hot shower and I take on sweatpants, a big hoodie, and I put my hair up in this turban thingy.
Yes.
Because I'm on my break. The
Yes.
clinic's closed.
Yes.
Then I watch out the window
Yeah.
from a lunchroom, and I see this lovely lady, old lady, walking towards the clinic.
And you know it's super cold out, guys. You don't
And
want
I'm
an
like,
old lady hanging out.
I can't let this wonderful old lady sit
Beautiful
outside in
person.
minus whatever. I can't. So for half an hour. So I'm just gonna open and let her in, and then I close the door after her. But I'm in my sweatpants and my turban. It's kind of not how I want to represent myself in the clinic, but
Yeah.
it's my break. So
Yeah.
I opened up the door for her and I said, I'm so sorry, but here, come in. And she looks at me and tusen tack, and thank you very much, and that's so polite. And I help her in, and I said, I'm so sorry for being dressed like this. And then I could just kind of just show her, like, I know I have a turban and I know I'm wearing sweatpants, but it's on my break right now. And then I can see that she looks.
Yeah.
So she saw me,
Yeah. But didn't.
and we had eye
Yeah.
contact,
Yeah.
but she had no chance of recognizing that what I was wearing wasn't appropriate or normal, or something was up here.
That's it.
Because people look at you, but they don't see you
Yeah. That's it.
most of the time.
Exactly.
So if you have a booger outside your nose, and someone said, you have something in your nose, that's maybe the first one. You can be 50 people that have been looking at you, but no
Probably
one
the
has
first
seen
guy-
it.
Yeah. The first person who saw it. So
Saw it.
yeah. And you're like, oh my God, I went all day long with this thing in my nose. No.
No, well, yes, maybe,
Yeah,
but no one
nobody,
saw it
Nobody cares. Yeah. Nobody
because they
knows.
didn't
Yeah.
register it.
Exactly.
And that's so fascinating. I'm
It's super fascinating, and that's exactly my point. The first one is that we have an innate fear of not being acceptable for the group. Of course, everybody has that. But as an adult, one of the things is, remember, we had that wonderful guy who wrote in and wondered what was natural to be and normal to be a man. And that is to, as an adult, you need to understand the rules of society so that you then can break them the way you want to break them. But you first have to learn what they are. You have to be acceptable. So we're afraid of not being acceptable. So, like in this situation with the dancing, one person's super stiff because they're wondering, how they're going to look for the other people. And the other people are so stiff because they're wondering if they're going to look okay for the other people. But in reality, they're only just actually worried about themselves looking dumb. They don't care about you. They're only worried. They just,
And that's what is so interesting.
They don't care if you're stiff or you're, a pro dancer or whatever. They just don't want to be the one that's stupid, right? They don't want to get left behind. So this is very much the interesting conundrum or paradox. You've heard this from the alternative environments so much. Just be you. Just be the best you ever. And a lot of people think that that means that they need to disregard all of the rules of society and don't give a crap, like that guy that I have talking about before who, just will not be a part of society and doesn't want to have money and lives on a naked beach for half a year or more at a time. And
I don't understand where you put your money.
Yeah,
that's my issue. Where do you put your
I actually
money?
asked him. He said under a rock someplace. And I'm like, okay, whoa, that's a good rock then, right? It's like you put your rock.
No, I'm going for a holiday. I'm gonna go like to the outside of all the nude beaches and lift rocks.
Lift rocks. Yeah. Why is she lifting the rocks? Because that's where all the cash is.
They're gonna be cash here.
Exactly. But he literally just put his passport in a plastic bag with his money under a rock and just lived on the beach. And I think that's amazing, but you can't make that your life. Like the whole point is that if you ever get sick or you need something, and it's like, yeah, but what if I never get sick? I'm Superman. I never get sick. Yeah, well, maybe you want to participate and help other people who need help. Maybe you just want to be a part. And then you're going to have to learn how to work with society. And almost everything that you do in your life, you're going to need other people. So it's about first learning how to relate to other people and what the norms are and being able to provide the norm. Walk around with clothes on, get up in the morning. If you say you're going to do something, do it. All that stuff. Get your education that you need to do the thing that you want to do. But when all that's said and done, once you've established that foundation, then you can take the next step. And that is to free yourself up from that foundation, so that you can now start to express with the tools given to you your uniqueness. But when you're 18, man, I love you a long time. It's not that I don't appreciate you and all that. Of course, you're a unique human being, but you first have to learn how to figure out society. And that's the problem. Most people, when they're super young, have an issue realizing that they actually have to shape up and structure themselves. But then when we get a little older, we're terrified of not having the structure.
Yeah, it's so fun.
It's like the paradox.
Yeah,
right?
it's and it's just it was just interesting because even that's been going. I also had to jump over that script. Like you sit there to decide. I'm gonna go dancing now. Because it's a reason why it's there.
Yeah, I thought you busted the move quite well.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I didn't care.
Yeah.
I can't.
Give me 5. Yep, that's it.
So it's but it's just interesting because we think so much about what other people might think, and we compare ourselves so much to what other people are doing. So, from school you had a person drawing, and then went and you said, "Oh, that's such a nice drawing." And I'm like, "No, it's not." And you said, "Yeah, it's so nice." And I said, "No, it's not." And then you said, "Oh no, you like Picasso." Well, he didn't draw that well, but it's excellent. And then okay, then, but then kind of you need to compare all the time. You always have the comparison, and they do it so much better than I do. And I see that a lot in. It's a big struggle for people because you compare where you are to where they are, But the thing is, you have no clue what they are dealing with
Yeah.
and what took them to get there. So,
Yeah.
for instance, with the trauma releasing exercises, one of the people, when we started it, to have group sessions, because she's been having courses in it, and you also educated to have courses in it, and you started in 2010, I think, and
Oh, that's a long time ago.
it's 14 years ago.
Yep.
And since 2019, I think we have been having group sessions.
Yes.
So we started with once every month, and it was one person in particular that now she can shake the whole room. But that took her 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
I was so impressed with her because she came every time.
Yep.
She stood and stood and stood, and if you join in on the tremor exercises, you will understand more about it. Come back to that later this year. But she had a tremor, but it was so gentle, and so you had to know what you were looking at to get it, to see that no, she is activating. And now she just again shakes the whole room, but it took her 6 to 8 months. And I was like, please, don't give up, come on, you can do it, and she didn't give up. And then you have people that try twice,
Yeah.
and then they go and they shake, they have wonderful tremors, but it's not as much as the person next to them,
Yeah.
and they can't allow themselves to not do that, although maybe their body do not want to shake that way. Because with time also I find the actually that how it changes makes it more beautiful, you know.
Absolutely.
But it's
It's
like
so
this with-
organic, so unique for
Yeah.
that person.
and we see this in everything. People that come into jiu-jitsu club now, they don't see that you've been a white belt. I never seen you as a white belt.
That's true.
So they don't understand
I was a horrible white belt.
that you say I didn't manage to do hip escape in the beginning.
Oh my God.
I couldn't front roll or back roll.
Yeah.
But of course, like, no, I couldn't. But, oh yeah, but you're so good at it. Yep. It's taken me 7.5 years
Yeah, exactly.
of practice.
Yeah.
But you don't see it because you compare yourself
Yeah.
to others. You compare yourself, you're coming to one training, you compare yourself to the one that's been going to 30, to 60, to 1,000, 10,000 trainings.
Yeah. Yep. That's it.
And then you expect yourself to be as good.
Yep. And that's something that is a poison in society. And that's actually becoming worse now because of Google. Because the process of discovering, the process of learning, the process of mentorship, the process of having conversations around things, the process of reasoning, all of those processes are leaving because you Google it, it's either right or wrong. Done.
How many people live in Estonia?
Yeah, exactly. And, we'd be like, oh, well,
Well, it's close to Russia.
Yeah.
And I would think it's more people than in Norway,
Yeah.
I would assume.
Exactly.
Because of the density in the Baltic countries.
Exactly.
And the sea there, it goes in from, it goes past Norway and in Finland and yeah.
Exactly. And having this thing is like
8 million.
Tallinn's like this big and it has, it felt bigger than Bergen.
The
and
bursting
maybe
now.
it's a little-
I said 8 million. I want to Google it.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
correct.
Well, which you can,
No, I
right?
can't because I don't have a phone with
Okay.
me. It's at home
Yeah,
today. But then
Yeah.
I want to Google it.
I got my phone
Yeah,
right here. I
but
got my
no.
phone. But the whole point is that having
You lose all that.
Yeah.
Well, where is it? You
Yeah.
you all that. Even where's the country? Where's the
exactly
geographic? You just go. How many is it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that whole process, right? And the process of learning is the same way. When you're teaching a child, for example, and they bring home a good grade, for example, they see this in chess. Actually, we'll just Josh Waitkins is a prodigy in chess, and he's also a BJJ black belt. Worked with Marcelo Garcia for a long time. Started his website. If you guys don't know who Marcelo Garcia, he's both an angel and a legend in jiu-jitsu. He's an amazing human being. He just came back from having esophageal cancer. God bless him. And God bless his family. I'm so glad that he's better and he's back on the mats and everything is good. But Josh Waitkins was a child prodigy in chess. He was just amazing. And what he saw in chess was that his dad coached him differently than the other moms and dads coached the kids. Because what they told Josh when he would lose was, okay, we just need to be working a little harder on that thing. And when he would win, they say, oh, you did a really good piece of work there. And that meant that his results were based on his what?
Work.
His work, his process in learning chess and doing chess. Whereas a lot of the other people would be, oh, you were so good today. You were amazing. You're such a star when they would win. But then when the kids would lose, what would happen?
I don't think they would call them shit kids. I'd just say
Well,
either they wouldn't say anything.
They would sometimes,
Oh, yeah,
actually.
okay.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
you're better than this.
Oh, yeah,
and
that- yeah,
I can't believe you let me down. And you shouldn't be making those kinds of mistakes. And because it became very personal.
Yeah,
So-
it's a you.
It's a you thing. So what happens in these situations is that if it's a you thing, an identity-based learning process.
And chess you start competing in as a very young
Oh,
age.
3 years old, 3, 4 years old. As soon as people
Not
can,
your formative years at all.
oh my God, right? So, and these like chess prodigies, man, they get hammered by their parents usually because they can be somebody. It's insane. And the intensity around it's so bad. So this identity-based learning pushes us to avoid challenge, avoid growth. Because let's say that you have 100 people that you play chess with and you know that you can beat them all. And if you win, you're a good person. And if you lose, you're
A bad person.
a bad person.
Shit kid.
You're a shit kid. So then who do you want to play?
You want to play a good person.
You want to be a
person.
good person, and you only want to play the people that you play because you know you can beat them. So when you meet a person that you don't know, you don't take the chance at playing that
No,
person.
you get sick.
You get sick. You start to you
Or,
avoid.
no, I'm not
or-
feeling so well. Or,
Exactly.
Or you miss your, I don't know, you flush your pieces down the toilet.
Exactly. You do
I lost my
something.
horse, sorry.
Yeah.
Can't.
Or you totally sabotage yourself so that it's obvious that you didn't get the best game. There's a whole bunch of psychological survival mechanics that happen with a child that has identity-based learning. Now, Josh Wadekins, not only was he a prodigy, meaning that he was a genius as a kid, but his parents were really smart at trying to support him in the process, in the working of chess. And he just killed it. And he became a world champion in Tai Chi. He became a world champion in something else. I mean, he's an avid competitor in different things. I don't think he ever competed in jiu-jitsu, even after getting his black belt from Marcelo Garcia, which means he's super good. I think he was too busy helping Marcelo with his website at that point to compete because we know competition's crazy. But that's the whole point. It's like, if you think about it, the people you look up to usually have 2 eyes, they have 2 hands, they have 2 feet, and they have 24 hours. So why is it that they get a different result? Is it because they were born super unique, or is 99% of it just about working?
Well, yes. And it comes down to your worldview and personal philosophy.
There it is. Exactly. Your worldview and your personal philosophy create your habits
And your results.
and your results. That's it.
And
That's it.
I think many of us forget that the result you're getting for a reason.
Exactly.
It's not just coming down out of the blue and hitting you like a deer.
No, it's it's mechanics. It is just mechanics. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a sneak peek of the Flow State Continuum weekend and to give you a little bit of an understanding around flow. So in order for you to be in flow, you must have structure. And you're like, well, what do you mean by that? Well, can a liquid flow if it doesn't have a riverbed or a
This is
channel?
funny because I was thinking about this
or a
yesterday.
pipe? Exactly.
Exactly
Right?
the same analogy. I was talking about that yesterday.
Yeah. So if you take water and just throw it into space, it's not flowing, is it?
It's kind of just a mess, and it's
just-
like bleh.
It's bloibling out there. Yeah. And maybe
bubbling.
moving in a direction, but it's not flowing. It's just basically using its surface tension to hold itself together. If you want to feel flow, you must have structure. And that structure is your worldview, your personal philosophy, the roles that you play, and the rules that you apply in those roles that you play. That's it. So if you don't have a conscious relationship with your worldview and your personal philosophy, then your states of flow, which are the ultimate human experience of action, where you're most efficient, most healthy, and most happy, will be hit and miss. And what I mean by hit and miss is that you only will fall into that channel coincidentally, and you'll get kicked out sometimes, and you don't know why you get kicked out because you're not aware of why you're getting kicked out. And the reason you get kicked out is that your worldview, personal philosophies, or the roles that you're playing will not allow you to continue to flow. So, for example, if you think that people who have lots of money or make money easily are bad people, and you see yourself as a good person, and you win some money, what's going to happen?
You're gonna do something very stupid with them.
Yeah, you get knocked out of flow. You're no longer flowing anymore. You get knocked out. If something happens in the moment that you can't accept because of your personal philosophy, are you going to flow there? Or are you going to get knocked out?
Oh no, it feels like you become like a cat with that has what's it called when it does the U?
The you?
That
Yeah, exactly. When it's a hissing cat,
hissing cat, because
exactly.
it triggers. You can feel you go it shakes you a little bit.
Exactly. And if something happens that doesn't fit in your worldview at all, you're getting kicked way the heck out of flow. You may even get traumatized. You see, that's the whole point. That the very interesting point is that in order to have flow, you must have stability. You must have structure. And that's what I'm saying. As an 18-year-old, you need structure. As an older person, you need some flow. So remember to shake those hips, baby, because the hips don't lie.
Mm-hmm. But it's very fascinating because and that's why I think the 4-day continuum weekends are so amazing, because you expand your worldview and your personal philosophy more and more, and you're consciously making it. Because as we say, when you're trying, you make the structure that you need. Then it's not your structure; it's from your mothers and fathers and teachers and preachers, and it's there for a reason. It's there to keep you safe. Like, you do not work on red lights. You do not work on red lights. So what happens when you have to walk on a red light when you're 32? What you gonna do?
Yeah.
You have to, but then it becomes a hissing cat inside you, because you go, no, I can't walk on red light. Well, you shouldn't, but sometimes you may have to.
Yeah,
if an old lady is falling right in front of you, crossing the road, are you just gonna stand there and watch her?
Get run over by a truck?
It's extreme. But what you're gonna do with it?
Yeah.
So it's gonna be an interesting weekend.
Just so it's said, two things about the weekend and also the experience that you're talking about. Just so you know, when the Twin Towers were falling, many people, not one, many people didn't get out in time because they were fixing their desks, because they couldn't walk away from their desks if their desks were messy. Wow. The building's falling down around you. Order your paperwork before you leave.
Because you fall back to what you fall back to.
That's it. And that's it. Your exactly your personal philosophy, your worldview, your habits, all that stuff that determine your results.
And when I was in the army, you said, we had this, like, you were drilling and you used all your evening drillings, and you're pulling the trigger, you're putting the magazines in, and then when you change the magazine of the gun, you're gonna have to put the magazine back on in your vest. You can't just throw them away.
No.
Because if you throw them away, that's what you're gonna do when you actually have to use them, and then you lose your magazines, so you can't get more ammunition. And you didn't understand this. Like, yeah. And some of us were very good at it. Someone were like, doesn't matter. And then we had this this exercise where the one where you don't eat and sleep and the whole armor stuff. And you could really then see who haven't been drilling the correct things. And of course, they had one guy, he almost flunked because he hadn't been drilling the right thing, because you fall back to what you fall back to, what you practiced with. So it was, of course, it's a physical thing, but at the same time, when the stress is very, very, very high, you're going to fall back to what you fall back to.
Yeah, that's correct.
So the wider it is, the better it is.
Yep.
The more you can orientate, okay, what's important? The desk, get the fuck out.
Yeah, that's it.
You get the fuck out.
Get the fuck out. You know, you're going to work, drop the stuff that's not necessary for you to get out the door to go to work, and go to work so you're not late. If you're going to try to fix a whole bunch of stuff that's not relevant on your way out the door, you're going to be late. It's the way it is. Stress, you know? So the Flow State Weekend is a scientifically based strategic process in order to free up the energy in your body from past traumas, from thought patterns that are blocking you, from worldviews that are stopping you, so that you can effortlessly reconnect with the power and energy that you are born to have, so that your everyday results get better and better, so that your energy gets more harmonious and you have better access to it, and your recovery becomes almost instant. So if you want to tell your friends what the Flow State Continuum is, there it is, my friends.
Fun.
It's awesome.
It's fun. Now we went, like you said in the beginning, we went over there 2 days ago to check the sound. We're very excited. We have a handful of tickets left.
Yeah.
And I absolutely would love it to sell it out. Come on, let's sell it out.
Yeah.
It's we already it's much larger than it's been before, but let's sell it out. So we have a handful of tickets left. Germany has stood up. Sweden have stood up.
Yeah. Holland.
Bergen has stood up.
Bergen, Holland. Yeah.
Holland stood up.
Yeah.
Oslo, come on.
Come on, Oslo.
I have seen you guys. I get this kind of notes and stuff from Buzzsprout where we post the podcast.
Yep.
And I know where you're listening from. I will give the person that lives, the people that live in Las Vegas and Australia, you will get
a pass
this time.
Yeah.
Oslo, come on. It's one train
Vegas.
ticket.
Come on, Vegas.
Come on. Get on that train.
Yeah.
You can go skiing in the afternoon and flow between. Okay?
That's it.
So come on, Oslo. I think you can do better
Let's
than this.
go.
Let's go.
So remember, you matter. Unless you multiply yourself by the speed of light squared, then you're energy. But if you can't be energy, matter.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. We hope you felt we added something to your day and hopefully your life. If you want to learn more, subscribe to our newsletter and find us at integrated-human.com. That is integrated-human.com. Integrated Human on YouTube and other social media platforms. Have a great day and thank you again for listening. Love, light, and upgrade from us at the Integrated Human team.